everybody, and welcome to qualifying for the QuitFit British Touring Car Championship. It's our 7th weekend and we are here at Knockhill. The session is due off in around about 10 minutes time, but we have got us starting soon instead of starting at the scheduled time. There has been a delay in the Porsche Carrera Cup Great Britain qualifying session. You can see their times going on at the side, but alongside me, down in the pit lane is Omi. He'll be rounded about as well, cross as always. And with us today for quali and then probably race 3 tomorrow, depending when he gets in, it's Josh T, who was commentating on Croft. Hello, Josh. Me and Omi were doing the combination of Formula 1 and Formula E at Croft 2 weeks ago. You've taken it. So the championship looking quite fun. Sutton retiring. Championship's closed right back up again. And the King of Croft taking race 3.
Yep, it really was a good weekend. Back to the classic British touring car racing that we expect, and what we haven't had for a couple of rounds. Well, most rounds, we've not had the best racing and the best classic touring car action. I think we can all agree. But the first round at Donington and last time out at Croft was definitely a good one, and also at Brands Hatch when I was trackside there as well. But last time out, the championship, as you said, it's really closed up, and there's only a couple of points in, 6 at the front, separate Ash Sutton and Tom Ingram, 258 for Sutton and 252 for Ingram. Then, of course, Colin Turkington with his win in race 3. He's got a little bit of a gap to Jake Hill, but the top 5 in the championship, all very close together. There's around 46 in it, and it looks like ITV are coming on it.
Yes, which means we'll hear from them as well, and everything going on with the pit lane walkabout. Louise Goodman back with us as well to come into this weekend. Annoyingly, and I've not got to switch between mics, so Josh T, it's raining. It's Scotland. It's always the same, isn't it?
Yeah, Scotland, it rains 90% of the time. It's classic British weather. What else do you expect? But we sometimes do get some nice sunshine at Knockhill. But what I can say is that it is
hot,
cloudy but hot. So British Superbikes at Foxton, 30 minutes down the road, are having a bit of fun.
But the 7th round of this year's championship takes us here to Knockhill for rounds 19, 20 and 21 of the QuitFit British Touring Car Championship. 1.27 miles, first touring car race here in 1992. A 50.451 is the qualifying lap record. However, that is unlikely to be beaten with it being a very wet day. Showers, air temperature 15 degrees, track temperature is changeable at 16 degrees. This was the imaging a few hours ago when it just started to come down. As Josh T said, Sutton 258 points, Ingram 252, Turkington on 224, Hill on 217, Camish 5th 212, and that pretty much locks them out with Cook on 164, Rowbottom on 144 as well. It's not too big of a difference between everybody they need to know. But what we should get is a very interesting qualifying session, which is coming up in a few moments' time. Let's hand over to ITV's Tim Harvey and David Addison to get the latest from them on what the championship is looking like.
Lottery. Well, it makes it a lottery, but it makes it doubly important just to be out on the track on the right tyres at the right time. It feels like all we've talked about as the main subject of discussion over the last 30 years here at Knockhill has been the weather, but it's a fabulous circuit. We always get a great welcome, and I'm really looking forward to this quali session.
The teams are in something of a quandary knowing what to do with tyres. The fans are ready to go. The teams making their way into the pit lane. We're running slightly behind schedule at Knockhill because of a red flag in the Porsche qualifying session. And, of course, they are running on a very wet road because they had a downpour just really as the session was underway. So there the teams are ready. But as Tim rightly says, a banker lap is going to be important early on. and then you need to make sure you're in that top 10 where it's going to be, one hopes, at its driest. The direction from where the weather is coming looks brighter. Now, Rob Huff is back in the British Touring Car Championship. He is taking over one of the team hard cars for the weekend. He said, well, I was either going to watch it on TV at home, so I might as well come and be part of it, when the phone rang from Tony Gillam. It's great to have Rob back in the championship, and earlier on in the day, Huffy talked to Steve Ryder.
Rob Huff, welcome back to the BTCC and welcome to Knockhill. Have you just sort of slipped into the old routine easily this morning?
I mean, I wish it was that easy. First of all, thank you very much. Great to be back. You know, BTCC's been a huge passion of mine for my whole career. I started here in 2004, which was the last time I was up here in Bonnie, Scotland at this track. So it's not changed a great deal, but obviously the cars have changed massively, even from when I drove the one off at Silverstone in 2017. Obviously, full hybrid system, which takes a bit of getting used to. A lot to learn in 2 half-hour practice sessions. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, a bit of wet weather, a bit of Scotland, and a great touring car to drive. So I'm very happy at the moment.
I know, a wonderful, glamorous, demanding venue, but how does this... how have you managed to sort of shoehorn this into your schedule? What is your schedule over the next few weeks?
I mean, we're quite busy. Off to Uruguay on Tuesday for the next round of the World Tour, and then straight from Uruguay to Argentina. Then back to the UK. Let's see how this weekend goes, but you might see me again in the future. There's possibilities of doing the last 2 rounds as well, before I then head off to Australia for 2 more rounds of the World Tour, and then the final in Macau. But yeah, to be back here at BTCC, you know, it's a great paddock. It's a paddock I very much grew up in. Lots of familiar faces, and yeah, I mean, this weekend's very much, you know, sort of just see how we get on and move forward from there.
Through all those glamorous world travel, you will cherish the memory of Knockhill in the rain.
Definitely a bit warmer where we're going, that's for sure.
But just give us an idea. I mean, the prestige of the British Touring Car Championship compared to the World Championship. Give us an idea of how those things sit together. I mean, what would be the greatest achievement for you? I mean, winning the World Championship is something. How about winning the British Touring Car Championship?
Yeah, like I say, I mean, I started here. I was very, very lucky. Right place, right time. Did a great job. Obviously, with the SEAT Cupra Championship back in 2003, that obviously boosted me into British touring cars, which is where I, you know, from when I was a kid, I wanted to be. I've always loved BTCC, and you know, did that year obviously with RML. They ran the car. And then I got the opportunity to go to the World Series with them. I had a wonderful 8 years with them. Obviously won a World Championship, so that box is definitely ticked. Definitely don't have a BTC Championship in my cabinet, and it would be something I'd obviously love to achieve. You know, I've always watched the BTCC. I've always tried to be involved, come and see you guys when I can. And yeah, to be on, let's say, home soil. You know, I've spent the last 20 years of my life traveling around the world. Had amazing memories, great, you know, racing. Very warm conditions compared to here. Very rarely does it ever rain. So, you know, definitely a return to BTCC is something I'd love to do.
So it's a box that needs to be ticked. Have you made any firm plans for 2024 yet?
No, not yet. At the moment, I'm with Audi in the World Series. As we know, they're closing the doors at the end of this year to very much focus on Formula One. So at the moment, the door is open for next year. So let's see what we can work on.
You've got to prove something today, though, first of all.
I'd like to think in the last 20 years I've proved quite a lot to enough people, but, you know, I'd love an opportunity to come back.
You have indeed. Great to have you back in the championship.
So cars making their way from the paddock down into the pit lane with some of the rather bedraggled marshals standing watching all of this. The marshals at the hairpin are hard at work just sweeping the circuit, and because they've been out in the elements all day, they're as wet as an otter's pocket, which, just for the avoidance of doubt, is 1 notch down from being wetter than a mermaid's flannel, which is if it was still raining. But for the moment, even though it's looking decidedly dark out there, it is not quite as bad as it was half an hour ago.
Yes, David has his phrase book out, so with this weather, you can expect a plethora of David Addison sayings this weekend, folks. But let's just, a word from me about Huff. It's good to see him back. He's such a familiar name to British race fans. It's incredible to think that he only has done 1 full season in the British Touring Car Championship, which was as a result of winning that SEAT Cupra Scholarship Prize, and of course he then transitioned straight into the World Championship. But since then he's made that 1 appearance at Silverstone in the Power Maxed Astra, had a 2nd place there, was immediately competitive. No reason to think he can't do that that again now. The cars are a little different, yeah, with the hybrid, but, you know, fundamentally they're very much the same. And in the TCR World Tour, he's driving front-wheel drive cars all the time, quite a similar type car. I see no reason why he couldn't be competitive this weekend.
And of course, that Seat season with Jason Plato all those years ago. Now, Jake Hill is another man to watch because he, of course, earlier on in the day was fastest in free practice 2. Ricky Collard was quickest in FP1 when it was really wet. Jake fastest in free practice 2. And on the back of that, he spoke earlier on to Louise Goodman.
Jake, we've had an absolute clean sweep of Napa poles so far this season. Is this a weekend that's going to change, and how confident are you that you're the man that can make it change?
Yes, let's do it. I'm feeling very confident, to be fair, Lou. I absolutely love it here. You know, I got pole by one of the biggest margins ever last year in the rocket ship that we had. So this time it's Laser Beamer's turn to try and take that pole, and it'd be nice to try and, you know, knock them off that pole and get one back here at one of my favourite circuits.
I was chatting with Ash earlier, and he's saying, listen, this is going to favour the rear-wheel drive cars. Just tell us a little bit about why.
I think, to be honest, it's just the amount of traction we get. You know, I mean, it's weird. We didn't really see it at Alton. You know, we actually was pretty terrible overall. But here, the car just really floats so well over all the curbs, and you get really good traction, good bite. So I'm hopeful that, yeah, that can happen again in qualifying. It's been good so far for me this morning, so let's see.
What about this weather? I had my sunglasses out 10 minutes ago, but, you know, we're speaking a few minutes ahead of qualifying. It's just coming down again, isn't it?
I know, yeah, it's forever changing. I mean, we're very close to qualifying now, but it can change so quickly. Depending on how hard it rains now, which obviously it is, it's, you know, it could be gone again in 15 minutes. So we've got to just do whatever we can in the moment and just keep going with it.
But how does this change your approach to the session?
You don't, you just fully commit and just go for it.
Lick it and send it. Have fun out there.
Thanks, Lou.
Yeah, and that rain really is coming down now. So the cars went to the end of the pit lane on dry tyres. They've now switched over to intermediate wet tyres because the track has been declared wet at 16 degrees. Air temperature at 15. It's going to be quite one of those that you try and have to watch. And I think as well, Josh, we're going to be in for a very interesting two-part session, of course. The traditional 30 minutes, then a 10-minute session just after for the top 10 shootout. So it's, again, a segregated quali.
Yes, it is. And, well, every single time we had a wet two-part qualifying was, of course, Brown's Hats. We all know how that went.
Yeah.
That was definitely an interesting session.
A lot more to come in. Yeah.
Brown's Hatch.
Now, you might be concerned why you can see at the bottom of the screen there's a race control messages tab. Don't be, because there are going to be about 27 cars out on the circuits, 26 cars out there in total. There's the transmitters to the TV, which sometimes play havoc with our servers. This is the hybrid management, so Sutton has 1 second per lap. Ingram has 3, Turkington 5, Hill 7, Camish 9, Cook 11, Rowbottom has 13, and everybody else out there on the circuit has 15 seconds to use a push to pass. They can activate that at 71 miles an hour. Rowbottom at 78, the same as Cook. Camish and Hill 81. Turkington, Ingram and Sutton can activate their hybrid at 84 miles per hour as well. The tents put up as well. It's a very small paddock here at Knockhill. I'm actually quite glad I couldn't end up going down, because it's not the best conditions to be there, is it? And it is going to be quite tight between the two. At least you guys will be at Silverstone in a few weeks' time. But there's a dry line at the top of Duffers Dip, and I'm just not looking forward to it. This is going to be a very greasy session, I feel.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really greasy session, and it's definitely going to be an active session with spins and skids and maybe taking a little bit too much curb, especially you don't want to take too much curb. You're still going to take the curb in the wet, but not as much as you would in the dry.
Let's check in with Omi then. He's down as well in pit race control area watching on. Omi, this could be a very interesting session. A lot of standing water out there on the track. Touring cars has piqued your interest. Are you looking forward to a good weekend?
Yeah, I am. I think I'm going to miss race 3 though.
That's all right. Josh T's back for race 3.
Yeah, because I have one hub again, so.
Yes.
Except I think Silverstone, I might be missing every single race 3 now, which is annoying because those are the reverse grid ones.
The best, yeah, the most fun ones, yeah.
So yeah, but hopefully it's going to be an exciting one, and hopefully it's not going to be like Brands Hatch.
Shouldn't be. Should be quite a fun one, but the session's going to start soon as well. As I'm just taking a look at, we've got a new system up here in the commentary box. You might notice this weekend because the legacy timing didn't work last time out. We changed over graphics, but it did start working this weekend. So we've sort of got a hybrid of the two. As the green light goes on, and qualifying is underway here for the QuickFit British Touring Car Championships. Only visit to Scotland, and the cars will head out onto the circuit. Track temperature is at 16 degrees and wet, air temperature 15 degrees and cloudy. There's a lot of standing water, and the first part of qualifying is underway. Hill heads out the circuit, and now this is going to get a very loud session. Turkington, Morgan, Jelly all start to head out on the circuit. This is going to be a lot of fun, Josh T, and they've got to find out what the best part of the track is. And really, the track's going to be improving throughout this session. So the first 30 minutes is going to be absolutely mega.
Yeah, it really is going to be. They'll probably just spend this first 5 minutes seeing where the best part of the circuit is, where the dry lines are, where the wet lines are, where possible places to go offline because if you're on the intermediate tyres and you keep going on dry, then they'll overheat. So you're gonna have to find places where it's a little bit wet. And I like that livery on the Napa cars. They've
Looks nice
a
this
little bit
weekend,
of a
Fosbury,
Scottish,
yeah.
Livery adjustment.
So the cars venturing out there onto the circuit, on board with Aidan Moffat for the One Motorsport with Starline Racing. 15 seconds he has per lap time. So I'm just hearing through my ears. Sorry, I don't know if you were hearing that on the TV pictures. I was. But we were just hearing that we're only going to have the 25 cars because there's still a problem, we understand, with Gamble's car from Free Practice 2. He didn't take part, so we understand there's still going to be a little issue coming there. We'll double check that as soon as the session finalises itself. But as you can see, there are 25 cars out there on the circuit, not the 26 in total that we've been believed to have had. So we'll keep you updated as they come across the control line. There's a lot of spray over the bump. Here's Jake Hill. Shouldn't be too long of a lap time here. So I don't think Gamble's got out the track. Looking at the driver tracker, Hill, Jenny Morgan. Hill's done a 56.303. He says the fastest time. Jenny goes second. Morgan third. Turkington fourth. But no sign of Gamble out there on the circuit. Now his problem from the second session still recurring as Jake Hill already on a faster middle sector time.
Yep, Jake Hill already finding time. Sutton goes third for 1:01. Jake Hill already nearly 2 tenths up on his time. Chilton goes second with a 56, but Collard,
wow,
a 55.562. Pearson goes fourth, just over a second off the pace. But Watson's got a purple sector 1 time.
Never said this before, but Josh T's might need to be a touch louder, so just a little touch on the board. Try again.
Yeah, well,
That's
Jake
better.
Hill coming across the line. What's his time going to be? It's a 55.483, and he goes second, 37 thousandths off the pace.
Watson's gone fastest, 55.446. Hill second, Collard, Taylor Smith all in there as well, trying to keep the delta times in. Here is Ricky Collard into the last corner of the hairpin, rising uphill as well at the last corner. Turn, as you can see, number 9 on the circuit. Collard across the line and using the remaining of his battery and goes fastest, 55.320. Ingram goes into 4th. Pearson goes into 11th position, 56.278. So already the times are coming down quite quickly, which is exactly what we wanted to see and what we needed to see. Now Dan Lloyd has left the track, so Lloyd has gone in, and I believe everything now looks to be good. As Daniel DeLong's there. There's Huff, who's in the pit lane, back in the championship. Lloyd has gone through, and Lloyd will become our 26th car. So, yes, all cars will now set lap times and you'll see the timing screen below you. Correction with the 26, so all should be good there. Rob Huff, however, not doing good. He hasn't set a lap time yet, he's only set delta times. There is Sutton, who retired last time out, nearly collecting the 777 of Michael Crees coming out the pit lane. Sutton is P2 on a 55.442. Adam says in the chat, see you later on for the IndyCar race, can't wait. Neither can I, Adam, it's going to be a wet race, it looks good. I can remember Rob Huff in the BTCC, glad to see him back this weekend, so are we. Only one full season under his belt, so it's good to see him back in control and back in the running order. Now, Huff and Lloyd, is Lloyd going to show up on my data screen? I'm hoping he is. Because he's not showing off yet. No, he's not. So I need to increase that just ever so slightly in order to have that by, what was it, height at 600, so 610. Look at Sutton, Josh T, on the rear camera angle. Really jumping over the curbs by quite a bit.
Yep, taking as much curb and Knockhill. The lap is definitely a very, very curb-heavy circuit. They take a lot of curbs on the inside and the outside. There we go. Jerry jumping over. It feels like a Knockhill. They're on two wheels for like the whole lap. The amount of curbs they go over at some speed.
Really good stuff.
Well, here's Colin Turkington, currently 10th.
Yeah, not improving as much as we thought he would be. So they'll find out there are more deltas coming in soon. But this incredible action we've been having so far in this championship, proving what we need to see. Yeah, it's going to see 6:20 on the board to nearly make it on there. It's one of these things you just got to deal with during the broadcast. That's really difficult to see. Race control. We've got a lap time deletion for car 16. So already they are saying you're not allowed to do the track limits, so just stop being a naughty boy, otherwise we'll start giving you some penalties. So they've got to really take care of the cars, Josh T, because otherwise we're going to have numerous problems throughout the remainder of this session.
Yep, numerous problems. They've got to keep care, and we're on board with
it's one of the Cupras.
Cupra.
Can't tell which one it is. It's a 70. It's 79 Rob Huff. Back out on the circuit. Great.
Yep, coming up towards the hairpin now. Got Colin Turkington behind him, and Dan Camis. Surprise, surprise, he's got the purple sector 1. Morgan goes 13th with a 55.988, and Huff comes across the line. And he goes
into an improvement, yeah. So Huff does improve on his original deltas. There is Ingram, last year's champion, just keeping an eye on the proceedings. He's back in the pit lane.
Hamish.
Do you reckon it's coming over yet for dry tyres? It's getting to the point, isn't it?
Maybe for the top 10, but Camis just set a lap time 64 thousandths down.
Yeah, he did.
On Vicky Collard. And that bike isn't meant to be there.
No, there we go. Collard getting out of the way. 27 go through Camish. Just getting a little bit dangerous now.
Yeah, pro tip for that British Talent Cup rider. I wouldn't go that wide onto grass at one of the fastest corners in the UK.
They're at Thruxton, aren't they, as well? Sympathies, by the way, to Matt Roberts, who's broken his leg. And he's presenting this week.
Has he?
Yes, he's presenting. So I think that's why he's sat down presenting. If he's hosting today, I can't remember. But he's broken his leg. Unless he's walking around, he's got a boot on. But he's there at the track. I saw Steve Day sending a photo out with him as well. Here's Ronan Pearson then out of the last corner in the Bristol Street Motors with XL in the Hyundai, booting out towards the line, not using much of his hybrid until quite late on across the line. And yeah, I think he's forgot where it was. Doesn't improve. 3 seconds off the pace. So black and white flag for car 66 for track limits, and lap 7 deleted for track limits on the times as well, as you can see coming in our data. And Adam Morgan's had a lap time deleted now as well. And of course, Josh Cook having lap times deleted with 66. That's who they are on the control board. So everybody having moments and everybody now needing to realise what they need to do. But the cars coming in thick and fast. It's a two-part quality. So the top 10 are the ones who will progress to the next session. So it's Sutton, Watson, Collard, Camish, Hill, Ingram, Cook, Taylor Smith, Butcher, Turkington at the moment. Hello to Eddie, he's watching on. Hello, Eddie. As we're watching down towards well, nearly STV is directing this weekend, not the normal ITV Motorsports. ITV, of course, and STV are the same thing. Scotland Television, which is the independent broadcasters, which is ITV. Independent television vision as well as they come through. And this coming into the last two corners. Watson runs in 4th position up to P2. As you said, 61 thousandths off the pace of Sutton. Hill is still in the pit lane. Now, that looks to me like a ride height change, Josh, that they're going to get set up because the track conditions are improving. Track temperature now 19 degrees. It's improved up.
Yep, Jelly in the pit lane alongside him as well. You've also got Edwards, who has just come out on track. Moffat and Cook are just about to start a lap.
Yeah, Jade Edwards caused a red. Yeah, Jade Edwards brought an end to free practice 1 this morning quite early. She locked up at the hairpin, went straight on into the gravel, like Collard nearly just did over the TV pictures as well. But she ended up in the gravel, managed to reverse it out, but it brought to an end the already shortened practice 1. We had 5 minutes standardised. The red flag came out with 9 minutes to go. Then with the race control said we'll have another 5 minutes, and unfortunately she put it into the gravel, and that meant no practice start. So the end of practice 2, everyone was on slick tyres doing the practice starts, and it started hammering it down once again, as it has been on and off all day here at Knockhill. As now we've got bright sunshine conditions, but the rain just keeps coming and coming and coming. It's what it's like being in the Highlands here. We're around about an hour away from Edinburgh, half an hour away from Linlithgow as well, where we've got some relatives there as well. So hello if you're watching. But it's a long stay away here as well. And I heard this morning actually as well, our pit reporter on the trackside as well, just stating as well about how noisy the Premier Inn car parks are this time of night, as they're used for miniature racetracks. And he went out to have a look what was going on. And guess who was one of the people watching on? It was only Ash Sutton. Ash Sutton was watching it all going on.
Number 1, that sounds like a very Alan Hyde thing to say. Number 2, that sounds like a very Ash Sutton thing to do.
It was brilliant. Just midnight races, and he's going to be at work in the morning. It was fantastic. There's Josh Cook across the line, 7th at the moment, using the remainder of his hybrid power. He's only on 11 seconds. It's a 55.536. It brings him up into 7th, which is time, not position. As new this weekend, by the way, we've got the race control messages finally displaying for longer, because we've now finally, we had at the start of the year, didn't we, where we had the new timing systems come in. It had to be rolled out very carefully. It didn't work. It started working at the end of the Alton Park weekend, and now it's properly working. So we've integrated both versions into our timing tower, so it's the best of both worlds for our graphics. So we've been waiting for this long time. And the best thing is, Josh T, it's all via browsers. It's all via the OBS browsers, which means when I send it to you later on, it's all going to be the same. And you'll need that as well for the future. And like Megan will need it on her laptop as well. So it's now all browser as well on the OBS, which is incredible because it means I can have... Oh, Jelly's having a bit of a wiggle coming out of Clark's. It's incredible because we can now have the battle screen open on another monitor, which means I can always see the driver tracker, race control messages, and the timing screen on one screen. So it's really helpful to me as Dan Lloyd comes across in 20th place. Go on, Justine.
Yeah, Jelly's car having a little bit of a wobbling like a jelly, that car through that corner there, and here's Ingram coming out of the hairpin on a lap time to beat the 55.162. Where does Tom Ingram go? Your champion from last year. He stays 6th with 56.321, slower than his fastest time.
Oh, and he's sliding it through turn 1 as well as he comes down towards the braking zone of now what is now Butchers, but we all know it is through Denton's into Cascades and then slinging it through uphill then. These big bumps. We had a massive accident here around about 5 years ago, and the red flag had to come out where everybody knew it would happen one day. Massive just accident over the jump bits. The car actually ended up on its side in that instance as well, so it wasn't very good. But that's the beauty of Knockhill. It's one of the most energetic circuits, and it's one of my favourites on the touring car calendar as well. I only visit to Scotland, but his track is awesome. As Ingram, now I can't tell, he's on wet tyres, isn't he? Because there's a dry line starting to form quite quickly, and his times aren't too far away, and he's boxed it into the pit lane as well. I reckon that'll be for dries.
Yep, but here is the ITVX car of Halstead, and here's a replay of that slide from Tom Ingram.
And he was over track limits as well at turn 1, so and it's downhill to turn 2 at Denton. So yeah, that's why he's going to be in. As that man,
still in pit lane.
That mechanic as well. Looking at the cameraman holding the air jack just up menacingly like a lightsaber. That was actually quite terrifying. Very terrifying.
It's,
actually.
the Napa mechanic defending all of their poles.
You shall not pass. And at the moment, Napa's pole positions are secured, but I must remind you, it's a two-part quali. Yeah, you read my mind there because it's a 55.162. If any track in any conditions would take away the Napa dominancy, it would be Knockhill. And we have had different runners in practice 1 and practice 2, so anything can happen. Really, anything can happen and probably will happen going into this session. There's Rob Half back in the 79. Now he's up into 24th position. Let's take a look then as everything's sort of quietening down in the session. This is our battle screen, our new battle screen, which has been created for this weekend, which finally looks similar, but finally it's all on browsers and it's all finally good. Yeah, go on.
One person, this could end the Napa dominance. One person who could do it, Watson.
Yeah, Watson, of all the cars. Black and white flag for, let's have a look. Black and white flag for cars 18 and 42. Now that is going to be for Daniel DeLong and the 42 of Gamble, who has managed to get out onto the circuit for track limits. And car 42 of Gamble has had his lap time deleted for track limits as well. So there's also, as you can see on your timer screens now, they've both had lap time deleted for track limits and both now been given the black and white flag. But the delta times, Sutton fastest, 0.061 of a second to Watson, and Collard coming in through.
Yep, and if you get many track limits, that's what Watson did in one of the practice sessions. I believe it was practice 2 at Croft.
Yeah.
And the stewards were like, no, even though it's practice, we're not having it. We're going to give you the black flag in practice.
That was it, wasn't it? Yeah, you told me about that.
Yes.
It was that proper black flag. That was it. They all got kicked out, not allowed to do anything. And a black flag.
Yeah, so
sorry, time disallowed for Adam Morgan now for track limits on lap 13 of his run.
Yeah, I was quite surprised that they would have black flagged the driver in the final 5 minutes of the practice, but it's just the stewards showing what they will do and what they can do.
Well, I can't remember who it was this morning. I'm just trying to look through the timing screens. Who I think it was Pearson, who wasn't allowed to take part in either of the 2 practice sessions because he had actually run here a few weeks ago in the Legends category. So, because he's got track knowledge from a few weeks ago in another Toka series, they banned him from the practice session. So that was quite harsh.
Okay then.
Yeah, they allowed him an outlap at the end of practice 1. That was it. He wasn't in practice 2 either. So very bizarre.
You never want to see a massive high side at the Campbell Seagrave Cobb.
Oh, look at that. There's Josh Cook jumping over. Dry lines are starting to appear, so they've got to aim for those 2 lines that are parallel to each other through the chicane that are taking up the tyres. Tracks, and that is slicks. Sorry, that's slicks for Cook. I think he's on slick tyres. Yeah, options.
Yep. Well, anyway, I'm going to stop talking about Thruxton so I don't confuse everyone, but here's Cook coming up towards the hairpin.
Track is drying.
Not improved in any of his sectors, but yeah, track's drying.
Says so on our new monitor as well at the bottom of the screen, track drying. So they are getting improvements across the line. 11 minutes to go. Sutton, Watson, Collard, Camish, Hill, Ingram, Cook. Wait, is that in the wall or is that in the pit lane? That's in the pit lane for Huff. It's quite difficult to tell, isn't it, where they all are?
There's Cook getting a massive slide there. He stays on the road though, just. Here is Cook. Ingram has just come out of the pit lane, and Hill is still in the pit lane. He's still having changes to his car.
So, 10 minutes to go in this first half of the session.
Yep, that's one of the Team Hard cars coming into the pit lane. Cook finishes his lap with a purple Sector 3, but a double yellow Sector 1 and 2 on board with Aidan Moffat now.
They're all going to be closing in.
Currently on a lap time.
It's getting that energetic run again, isn't it? I'm not looking forward to this.
Yes.
So the gap is...
Watson's still in second.
Watson is still PT, right? There we go.
That could change though, because we've got a couple of drivers on a personal best. Sector 1, and that's Cook and Rowbottom, and Cook's just done a purple overall best.
Oh, he has.
Sector 2, so here he comes out towards the hairpin and towards the line.
He's going to use all his remaining time of hybrid. He only used 3 seconds on that last lap time of the giant track. Josh Cook goes P1 by 0.6 of a second. 54.526. Right, they're all on dry tyres now, so expect to see the lap times tumble. Here comes Daniel Rowbottom in the Napa, and he goes top 54.072, 4 tenths faster than Cook, and 2 sectors better in sectors 2 and 3. Jelly P9, fastest first sector in the BMW, so keep an eye out for that. And now Rowbottom takes it in Sector 1 with a 17.404. On board with Rory Butcher with the Toyota. Turkington goes into 3rd position. Track is improving. Still 19 degrees, but there's a dry line. Drivers are now going out there on dry tyres. Huff goes 3rd. He's lost nothing. Jade Edwards goes into 6th position. Fantastic. Having her back in a more competitive car in the British Touring Car Championship. Rory Butcher goes 2nd across the line. Ingram backs out into the pit lane. He'll need a setup change. Here into the last 2 corners. This comes Rowbottom. Jelly goes 2nd, 54.319. Done Rowbottom looking faster as he comes across the line once more, using all available hybrid power, and goes 53.167. New top time, 1.152 quicker than Jelly. Morgan goes into 7th position as well. Times begin to tumble, and it is now Huff looking faster as well.
Yep, Huff did have the purple Sector 1 momentarily before Josh Cook took it away, but here comes Huff out of the hairpin towards the line. Turkington goes 3rd once more. Hybrid active for Rob Huff. Where does he go? He goes 2nd.
The Go Fix with Auto Aid breakdown is absolutely mega this weekend, and that time is improving, but still the Nappers have the advantage. A drying track suits them perfectly. Cook goes into 2nd position. There is Jade Edwards. She is currently down in 5th position and will make it through to the top 10.
Yep, and Hamish has got a purple Sector 2. Rowbottom's just done a 52.827. Morgan is 3rd.
Oh, across the line, there goes the 27, and that's Camish to the top, 52.758. This is mega.
700ths faster than teammate Rowbottom. Turkington goes 3rd for the 3rd time today. In quick succession as well, keeps getting dropped. Oh, massive slide for Camis, and Camis is off onto the grass.
And he has broken the front end of the car. Its bodywork's damaged. So he is, he's broken the front nose cone, and he's lost the rear. Look at that, he snapped the rear, Camish, and he's not the first to do that today. We've seen some Porsches do that earlier on, and he was lucky not to take off the front bumper there, Josh T.
He had a purple Sector 1 as well.
Yeah, 16.993. He's boxed as well. He'll have to get the mud out because that's wet mud as well on the front of the cars.
Yep, he's just into the pit lane now. Here comes Turkington. Is he going to go 3rd to keep his run? No, he stays 4th, unfortunately. But Cook, purple Sector 2, here he is coming in towards the hairpin.
Look at Jade.
Edwards goes 4th.
Jade Edwards up into 4th position. Fantastic time from her. and she's 2/10 off the pace, and she's actually in that Honda a lot better since she swapped teams mid-season as well. She didn't like it at Team Hard. She swapped over into the Honda. Cars clicked with her perfectly. She's clicked with it, and really well last time out at Croft, I thought, as well, and really well here at Knockhill.
Yep, really well done indeed for Jade Edwards. Cook went top with a 54.420. Morgan went 5th. Watson 8th. Jelly went 10th, but has been knocked out by Lloyd, Huff and Doble now in 12th. But look at Ingram. A double purple sector 1 and 2. Let's see, will we pick him up? No, but he goes top, a 52.213.
And that's Anna Morgan bouncing across in the BMW. There's the 22 doing much the same. And that is also now the 22 off the track and gets it back on under control later on. So just having a look on my data screens as well. And well, it's obviously Holstead, by the way. But still, looking at the data screens, we're getting into a bit of trouble. There he is, Holstead on the replay.
Happened.
Just locked up.
Locked up. And I am going to say it. That car has just been a massive meme this season with the ITVX van in it always being off track. And Cook, 2/10 off the pace of Ingram. Purple sector 1. Butel also got a personal best sector 1, so as Osborne Gamble goes 19th, 1.6 seconds off the pace. Here is Josh Cook.
Computer's putting
He's
in P1.
1 second up.
Yeah, this is the One Motorsport with Starlight Racing, the same team as we were talking about with Jade Edwards, but across the line comes Josh Cook. The computer says P1. Does he go P1? Yes, he does. By 6 thousandths. Wow! But Ingram's got a fastest first sector. 16.695.
Now this is a good touring car qualifying. The track is drying, as you can see. It's 18 degrees the track temperature, 17 degrees the air temperature. And Tom Ingram flashing his lights. He didn't improve in his second sector, flashing his lights because he's got Daniel Rowbottom in his way. Sutton goes 3rd. As Tom Ingram comes across the line, where will he go? He's currently 2nd. He goes top with a 51.911, but Josh Cook has a purple sector 2. He's coming towards the line now.
Once again, it's getting competitive. Huff goes into the top 10. Cook goes 2nd. 52.159. Ingram's still the fastest. This qualifying is electric, and we're going to have just as much the same. Butel, lap time deleted, but goes fast into 18th place. Jelly goes 5th. Edwards still in 9th position. The top 10, there's no point. You can just see on your timing screen. It is changing every single second. We are having runs. And that's how quick this track is. It's how brilliant this track is being. It's Ingram, Cook, Sutton, Moffat, Jelly, Morgan, Turkington, Butcher, Edwards and Taylor Smith. They're in the top 10. Then further down, that's who's going to start 11th onwards in this race tomorrow. Race 1 is going to be fun.
Taylor Smith just starting his final couple of laps. Josh Cook, purple sector 1, yellow sector 2. He comes across the line. Now he goes top by 45 thousandths of a second. It's a 51.946, but Rory Butcher, a personal best sector 1, an overall best sector 2. Where will he go on the board as he comes towards the line? Now he goes top,
wow.
A 51.790, but Tom Ingram has a purple sector 1, Sutton a purple sector 2, Lloyd a purple sector 3, but he goes into 11th.
And look at this, Ingram fastest first sector, Sutton fast, oh, contact, car on the wall, and he's taken out one of the barriers. I can't tell who it is who's here. It's the 12, it's Stephen Jelly. Now, can he get that out, or is he going to bring out a red flag? So far, we stay green, but Stephen Jelly has lost it coming up the hill. That's out of turn 4, that's through Cascade, so that could be local yellows. No sign of a red flag. They will get another delta time in anyway because it's a 51-second lap time, but it's improving every other second. Now, will Butcher lose his lap time? He went through a yellow flag zone. Moffat goes P5. Here comes Butcher across the line. He's still P1, and he'll get to go again. But Stephen Jelly in real stripes, he won't make it through. He's P10 at the moment, but now could lose his wrist. Now he's out of it as Dan Lloyd goes 9th.
Yep, Dan Lloyd goes 9, 4 tenths off the pace as Sutton is on a good lap, but he went through a yellow flag zone, I do believe, and we've gone red flag. 51.739 for Ash Sutton. He just goes through, and that's going to be questionable for the stewards, for Daniel Rowbottom.
Jelly stopped the wrong way round. That was a long hole to get now. Now that's questionable because that car can actually continue. So Stephen Jelly will lose his fastest time and won't be allowed to make any further part in qualifying. I don't know why he can't reverse it. So now he can look under the red flag conditions. That's questionable in my books as to why Jelly just couldn't do that anyway, because he went on the grass to turn it around. That's questionable.
Also, another massive questionable move. The red flag was out. Daniel Rowbottom was on the pit lane entry path, and then while the red flag was out, cut out of the pit lane entry and went back on track to finish a lap and to complete another lap under red flag.
Not allowed to do that, especially if committed to the pit lane. So this will reset the clock to 5 extra minutes. That's how it goes. It stopped with 45 seconds to go, but each part of qualifying, if it stops with a red flag inside the final 5 minutes, the clock will get reset to give 5 full minutes. So this is going to be a longer qualifying than we already knew it would be. But the car's back into the pit lane as the 66 that's Josh Cook, apparently still in the first sector time, but everybody else returning to the pit lane under these red flag conditions. Don't know why. Jelly might be under investigation for that. He's already going to lose his fastest lap time, and it has now been deleted, by the way, look, on the messages board. Lap 24 for number 12 has been deleted, so that's put Jelly into 11th place anyway, but that might just get him a little bit of a slap on the wrist, because he's deliberately caused that red flag. Right, red flag out then. Cars in the pit lane. Shouldn't take too long. Let's have a quick check-in with ITV Sports.
It really is. The difficulty is, if you go with a brand new set of 4 tyres, to do a cross and do lap times on a front-wheel drive car is very difficult. It is possible, but you really do limit the number of laps you're going to get, whereas rear-wheel drive cars can go. Front-wheel drive cars, I think, if they've got any heat in their rear tyres at all, will just elect for a pair of fronts. But look, they're getting ready for Rob Huff to have another go, that's for sure.
So this was, we saw it from onboard Rory Butcher's Toyota, but the BMW of Stephen Jelly went around, big spin, and he found the
green flag
hoarding, and he found the tar stack. So Stephen Jelly off the road. Right, the green flag already waved, so with the track clear, everybody now mad scramble to get out. Those at the pit out end, like Team Hard, could be in the pound seats here.
Yeah, they get no garages, they have to work out in the rain, but there is an advantage.
Yes.
They are literally first ones out of the track. So good for them. It takes a good minute or so for everyone else to get out. Huffy's actually leading them round. It will mean that he'll come round and catch some traffic coming out of the pit lane, but I think with everybody out on the track at the same time, bar Jelly and Camish, it's going to be busy anyway.
So Rob Huff, you're riding with the road much drier. He was really the first of the pioneers, wasn't he, to go onto slips, starting that trend, and other teams sending the cars out on track. Not everybody has gone back out. But Dan Camish's car still in the pit lane. Tom Ingram ready to go. Sutton is still in. So Sutton second, Ingram fourth. And Sutton does now venture out. So it does look as though Camish's session is done.
Yeah, there must have been something a bit more damage than we realised, either an intercooler or something else underneath, because they clearly made the decision very quickly that it wasn't worth trying to...
He disappeared for 2 minutes and the session restarts as well. That's always what we love to see, isn't it, Josh T? But we haven't missed much because the car's back out there now on their first runs for the final 5 minutes.
Yep, back out on track. They've got 3 minutes and 23 seconds remaining, and everybody out on track except Jelly and Camish. Of course, they've both had damage in the session, but Rob Huff on a first lap time. He is slower. He's currently 18th. We'll see where he goes as he exits the hairpin and up towards the line.
Rob Huff, 18th position at the moment, and there you see cars still on their outlaps. That's the 77 crossing the line. Rob Huff doesn't improve, 53.084. That's 8 tenths down on the overall Delta time. I need to check a message in a few minutes, so someone remind me to do that. Butcher, Sutton, Cook, Ingram, Moffat, Turkington, Hill, Taylor Smith, Lloyd and Chilton, the top 10 as things currently stand. As Jelly still he's not allowed to take any further part in this session. Camish was having problems way before that, as Josh Cheese just said. But this could be a very crucial few moments of qualifying. They have to get it good. They have to get it in. And Rowbottom goes 9th. Rowbottom does improve into the top 10 shootout. Brilliant stuff from him. Really finding the Delta time he needed to and using maximum attack. This qualifying, I think, is one of the best of the season, if not the best of the season. And we thought Brands was good.
Yep, Brands was an amazing qualifying, but this one might even be a little bit better. We've got cars that Shock.
Butcher being one of them.
In the top 10, yep, and top 38 thousandths is the gap.
Oh,
and Moffat,
and
Cook.
Blimey, where did they come from? Cross the line, a tenth and a half quicker than Butcher. Moffat and then Cook going across it faster. Pearson goes into 12th position. Chilton still 11th, using hybrid across the line. Collard goes into 12th as well. Watson 13th. They're flying across the line now. Everyone's having the quicker deltas. Bongo said Butcher's dad's track, so he has to come somewhere. Yeah, P1, but now down to P4. Hill, 51.535. Lloyd 5th. And that is Huff taking the curbs.
Off having a massive curves, running a little bit wide because of that. He goes 19th, just under 1.1 seconds off the pace. Cook is on a good lap as well. Here's Chilton.
Ooh.
Cook goes top at 51.429.
Still another 10 minutes to go, remember. This is only part 1 of qualifying. Taylor Smith goes into 9th. This sets the top 10 shootout. Ingram goes P7. Ricky Collard is across the line, doesn't improve. 52.732. Can't find the delta. The track is drying. 18 degrees track temperature. Air temperature 17 degrees and cloudy if you're listening into us on the radio streams. Morgan goes P9, 51.904. Hill's backed out. Now he thinks he's done enough. That's a brave call with the track evolution being so quick, as the camera has a little bit of a heart moment coming into turn number 1. There we go. Pick up some cars, please, directors. And Sutton goes to 3rd. Completely missed that across the line. Sutton goes into 3rd position, and here's Rowbottom improving. But it's Josh Cook as the checker flag comes out. Josh Cook might just take the first session in a qualifying this year that is not topped by a Napa.
Yeah, well, the checkered flag is out. Ingram goes 3rd. Chilton goes 8th. Collard goes 11th. It's not enough for Ricky Collard.
Watson 15th, Gamble 17th as well. Taylor Smith's not improving and doesn't. So it's nothing there as well. As Morgan goes into P7, Chilton goes 9th. Turkington's on the bubble, he's in P10. Aaron Taylor Smith's going to be finding something with the yellow sector 1. Hill goes to the top because Cook's had a lap time deleted. Cook, lap time deleted by the stewards. Hill then originally takes P1, so he did know something we didn't. As Sutton goes into P3, Ingram 4th, out of the last corner. Here does come Aaron Taylor Smith across the line. Is it redemption or not from 12th position across the line? And Taylor Smith doesn't improve, and that's it. And Morgan's had a lap time deleted for track limits as well. Drops him to 10th.
Stays in 10th.
Turkington, where's he? P9, just gets through. And Jelly's pitted. And everyone else has taken the checkered flag. That's it. Session is over. Wow.
Absolutely amazing qualifying session we've just had at Knockhill. But does that mean we'll have an even better part 2, which is coming up in a couple of moments?
That is just part 1, my friend. Part 2 will be even more dramatic. Hill, Cook, Sutton, Ingram, Moffat, Butcher, Lloyd, Chilton, Turkington and Morgan, the top 10 going through. Starting 11th down, Collard, Taylor Smith, Rowbottom, Pearson, Watson, Osborne, Gamble, Jelly, Edwards, Huff, Patterson, Doble, Camish, Butel, Holstead and Daniel DeLong down in 27th position. Wow! Can't wait to see what happens next.
Absolutely incredible. A lot of brooms, couple of leaf blowers out on track now with the marshals trying to get rid of the grass. from Camish and the other incidents with Jelly as well. Nick Halstead also had an off track.
Right, let's check over with ITV then.
Thousandths of a second between Sutton and Ingram on their lap times.
And Dan Rowbottom will be a frustrated 13th. Let's see whether Louise can force a smile out of Dan Rowbottom at the end of that session. Lou.
Yeah, this is, Dan, one of those moments when you don't really want to see me, but frustrating session for you.
I don't think that's fair. I always want to see you. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, the problem is this place it's a tight circuit, right? So you've all got to pay attention, and the same driver keeps stopping. He's not quick enough. He can't get hit in the tyres. That's fine. But look in the mirror and get out of the way. I mean, I drove into the back of this guy in the middle of the chicane, smashed the front end in, and then I don't know what happened on the last lap. Watson and Crease here having a fight in qualifying, and it just, you know, it's just messy, really messy. But ultimately, not really want to be out of the top 10 shootout. It's not quite the 1, 2, 3 of Croft, but you know, it looks like it's all down to Ash.
I thought maybe, I mean, well, you probably thought as well you're going to have a last chance at it with that extra five minutes added on, but obviously too much damage done to your car by that point.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously improved in that last 5-minute run, and we needed another lap. You know, obviously the track gets quicker, the tyres get quicker, a little bit more confidence in me, and ultimately, I just didn't quite pull a lap early enough. We came in the middle of the first run for more fronts, and it put us out of sync. We had a really good rhythm initially, we had loads of space, and when we came in and pitted for the tyres, in hindsight, the performance we got in the tyres, we ended up in the traffic, so actually we probably did ourselves a bad turn there, but you know, ultimately this is what you go touring car race for, isn't it? The good and the low.
Bad luck. Hopefully there'll be more good tomorrow.
Thank you.
So Dan Rowbottom being optimistic, being as positive as he can be, but will be frustrated. Not as frustrated as Dan Camish, so Robo 13th, Dan Camp 23rd.
Yeah, so after, as I said, the heroics of Croft, 1, 2, 3 on the grid, we've actually ended up with just Sutton in the top 10.
So the order at the end of Q1, Hill, Cook, Sutton, Ingram, Moffat, Butcher, Lloyd, Chilton, Turkington, Morgan. They are the 10 that go through, and of course for them it becomes a relatively clear circuit. The rest of the grid is going to look like this. Ricky Collard for 11th ahead of Aaron Taylor-Smith and then Dan Rowbottom. Ronan Pearson 14th from Andrew Watson, then Sam Osborne, George Gamble, Stephen Jelly, Jade Edwards ahead of Rob Huff. 21st, Dexter Patterson, then Mikey Doble, Dan Camish 23rd from Jack Butel, Michael Crease, Nick Halstead and Darryl DeLee on 27th. So the Marshals finding bits of car to take away. That's a bit of a BMW, I think. After Stephen Jelly's off.
Yeah, I guess it must be.
Because Dan Camish was on this side of the road, and that's come from where Jelly had his dramas.
So that looks repairable. West Surrey Racing will knock that into shape, I'm absolutely sure. But it just shows how much damage it gets done to the underneath these cars. But the circuit is so that the grass is very damp, it's bumpy, that's inevitable.
Rory Butcher there talking to Jack Coker, his engineer, who leans in. Jack having taken over responsibility from Croft onwards of engineering Rory's car, and looking pretty decent in that earlier session. Of course, if anybody knows their way around here, it is Rory Butcher. That's Aidan Moffat, who again is looking to see what he can do in this second part of qualifying. Jade Edwards won't be in it, but not a bad effort, and was looking very good for a time as the road was drying out. And Jade happy to be back with One Motorsport.
Yeah, two Scotsmen in the top 10, so something for the crowd to cheer on for sure. No Gordon Shedden this year, sadly, but as with 4 Scottish drivers, I'm sure they'll be all rooting for Aidan Moffat and Rory Butcher in this next session, and indeed tomorrow.
And Aidan Moffat then good to go as we await the countdown for 10 more minutes of this session. So we've had the drama of a 5-minute blast, now 10 minutes. All of this just to sort out how they start for the first race, and then of course the results of that, the grid for race 2, and then you get the semi-reverse grid for race 3. So for some of the teams, for some of the drivers, work done, they can go off and look at data or contemplate being involved in the kart event later on in the day that Nick Halstead is a great champion of, looking after these things to get the drivers and fans acting together. And
Away we go for the 10-minute shootout then here at the Knockhill circuit in Scotland. It is part 2 of qualifying, and the 10 cars heading out onto the circuit. Moffat, Cook, Sutton, Hill, and then we get Morgan coming out of pit lane as well. Jake Hill coming in, as I just see on my timing screen. And we're going to see Colin Turkington next to come out. He's P6. Dan Lloyd getting wheeled out. Chilton getting wheeled out too on the control deck. Now, hopefully, Chilton won't have to stop because of Lloyd getting out of the pit lane just in time. Yeah, so Lloyd, Chilton, 2 cars left. That's going to be Pearson and Morgan, coming through as well. So not pushed out just yet. Jelly didn't make it through, but now Josh T, 10 minutes, 10 cars, and ideally around about 7 laps of pace, I would see, going forward. So once more, it's going to be quite a fast, brutal qualifying session, as we've come to expect.
It is. Well, Hill coming up towards the chicane now, warming his tyres up, getting ready to start a lap time.
Going to be quite a good session, this. I can feel it coming already. 10 minutes, now 8:30 on the board. As you see, it doesn't take that long for an out lap, 90 seconds, and they're still warming up their tyres. It's got cloudy again, you know. Track temperature now at 17.4, so it's not the best out there right now for conditions. So just wonder if we have another bit of a spitful of rain. So the 2 who have elected not to go out there might have made a mistake here.
Track is declared dry.
Yes, that's true.
There is a full dry line around the circuit. It's a little bit wet offline, but if you have a full dry racing line around the circuit, it's declared dry.
Maximum hybrid power can now be used as well in these top 10 shootouts, so this should be quite an energetic run. Moffat, second sector fastest. Right, banker laps, 59.966. That's not going to be fast enough. Cook 1 minute. They're all still trying to get their deltas up and running. So, yeah, take it nice and easy. Morgan second, Hill third, and they're all pretty much standard opening lap times. Lloyd puts it in, 52.862. Now we're up and running, and he's got a really fast run, actually. Who's ahead of him? It's Turkington just ahead of him, car 4. Oh, and Lloyd snapping the rear as well, going down through Cascades. He's really pushing it hard.
Chilton does a 59-second in lap and completed the time when he was going down the pit lane at pit lane speed. So an amazing lap there, but it looks like there might be a little bit of a problem there for Chilton. Here comes Moffat across the line. He goes top of 51.667. He's 1.195 seconds faster than Lloyd. Cook goes third at 55.319.
Yeah, Moffat needed to find those 3 sector times, and he's done so in the Honda there. The one drive looking quite fun. Turkington P5 pushing it 55.1, and fastest first sector now belonging to Josh Cook, a 16.621. Take a look at the nappers in this session. You've got Sutton in there too. I reckon it could be. We see our first ever non-napper pole. 6 qualifyings we've had this year, 6 napper poles, and it could change finally now.
Yeah, Moffat is looking faster once more. Cook's a double purple sector, but here comes Moffat. He's across the line first. It's a 51.599. He improves his time. Just behind him is his teammate Josh Cook. Comes across the line. Is he fastest? Yes, he is by 91 thousandths of a second. It's a 51 point. Whoa!
Never mind, Sutton's gone top. 51.324. He's a 10th up, 0.184. So the nappers have still got the dominance that we were just talking about might be lost. Turkington's gone P5 and Ingram still P9, still slow. Butcher has now on the track. So 10 cars have now started a run. This is crazy. That napper's still good, as you see the tartan on the front.
Butcher about to finish his lap time. He goes fourth with a 52.544, but Ingram, who is currently 10th for purple sector 1, and to tell the difference with the livery edition with the 4 nappers, one side team One pair has it on the front, the other pair has it on the back rear.
4 minutes to go. Reminder, if the session gets stopped within 5 minutes, we'll reset the clock to 5 that we just had. Morgan goes 4th, Turkington 5th. It's going to be another case of last one across the line takes the top time. Ingram, 4 tenths down though.
Yep, Ingram doing a 51.8 dead, but Josh Cook, he's got a purple sector 1. He is flying once more. He's coming up towards the hairpin now. It's the personal best sector 2. Butcher goes 4th, 3 tenths off the pace, but Josh Cook coming up, exiting the final corner. He's got some traffic in the name of Chilton.
Cook across the line, and Chilton goes 8th. Cook goes top, 51.273. Lap time deleted for Morgan and the 16 of Moffat, so they've had their fastest lap times deleted. Here comes Jake Hill out of the last corner, gives it a welly, and he's got his teammate, a BMW teammate just ahead of him. Hill across the line, goes up to 5th position, but the toe imported up through the last corner of the hilly section here at Knockhill. Cook, Sutton, Moffat, Butcher, Hill, the top 5. Morgan, Ingram, Turkington, Chilton, Lloyd, the top 10. 3:40 to go on the board.
Yep, Cook 51 thousandths faster than Sutton. We've got 3 minutes and a half left on the clock. Ingram's got a purple sector 1. Keep an eye on him, but we're looking at Jake Hill. Sutton's also got a personal best green sector 1. Lloyd also. Chilton goes 7th with a 51.786, but here's Jake Hill.
Look at Hill, bottom right of the screen as well. He's got a damaged front side pod radiator, so Hill is in a lot of trouble there. He's hit the wall, I reckon. Look, bottom, and then to the left of your picture, he's cracked open one of the radiators. So that's going to be a bit dangerous in the session. Ingram's gone 3rd. At the moment, it is Josh Cook on provisional pole position with 2:50 to go. Our first non-Napa pole of 2023. Could Scotland provide the breaking point for the Nappers?
Well, Butcher improves on time, not position in 5th. Lloyd, Turkington, Hill all got personal best green at sector 1's. Turkington's currently in 9th. He comes towards the hairpin now.
He's down in the middle sector by 4 tenths of a second, so Turkington in the BMW having to push it in the M Sport, coming out there across the line. Turkington P9 needs to get his championship back on track, especially after race 3 win at Croft. Crosses the line, only manages 8th fastest. Very surprised the Napa Ford not doing well here. This is a hilly circuit. Fords are good on hill starts. I don't know why we're having problems.
Top 3 is separated by 51 thousandths of a second. Hill has just split Cook and Sutton, put a time in which was 23 thousandths off the pace. There it is on screen now. Hill a 51.296 was his best 51.296. Cook a 51.273 and 51.324. Got just over 1 minute left. Sutton is 3rd. There's no Napa in 1st and 2nd. Sutton comes out of the final corner and up towards the line.
This looks good, this looks good, this looks good, and it is good. 51.267, 6 thousandths once again. Second time in this session. Sutton on provisional pole. But Cook could easily beat that. The track's improving so much.
Yep, as you said earlier on in the top 10 shootout, it is the case of last one across the line. Sutton really jumping the car, and he gets it a little bit wrong.
He's lost time, he has lost time. 16.644 first sector. Second sector coming through, 19.856. He's still down. He'll get one more run. Here comes Turkington, up towards the line. Does he find any delta to be an improvement? Turkington, 8th. No, still 8th. Not improving. Here across the line, that's the Napa. That's Sutton. And it's not improvement. Hill doesn't improve. 29 thousandths of a second separate the top 3. Checkered flag comes out. Morgan goes 6th. Flags out. And that Toyota is in. So Chilton, Lloyd, Ingram, that's enough. Look at Hill bouncing.
This is the make or break lap for Hill. He was off in the first sector. He's trying as best as he can. Cook off in the first and second sector. I think it's all done.
No, not another Napa. Not another Napa. Their closest margin this year. Cook is out of it. It's all down to Jake Hill, and he's fastest in the second sector, but locks up. Coming into the last corner. Hill puts pedal to the metal in the BMW. Sutton across the line. He doesn't improve. Does Hill take it across the line? No, he doesn't. It's another Napa pole position. But this is the closest one of the year. It is 6 thousandths of a second separating Sutton and Cook. Turkington went over the curb on 2 wheels. He went in the gravel, lost the delta. But it is Ash Sutton once again with a pole position. And Napa reigns supreme. 7 qualifyings, 7 poles in race number 1. I don't think anyone can stop them. And that was Moffat spinning into the gravel down at Clark in and Clark out.
Yeah, well, when we thought that Napa couldn't get a pole, this was the closest one, as you said, 6 thousandths, and it was also 6 thousandths of a second in part 1 as well.
It was. That's identical between the two of them. That's insane. 6 thousandths of a second again. 6, the magic number. 006, the magic number here. Let's take a look at the full results then. It is Sutton who will start race 1 here at Knockhill, round 19 of the season on pole position. It will be Cook in second. Hill will be third. Butcher is fourth. Ingram fifth. Adam Morgan is sixth. And then Aidan Moffat seventh. Colin Turkington eighth. Tom Chilton ninth. And Daniel Lloyd will round out the top 10 in what has been a very dramatic qualifying. Certainly, I think now the best of the season, but absolutely top tier. Track work continues, ready for the second session. Let's hand it over to ITV and we'll have a word with our top 3 runners.
And Ash Sutton, the fastest at the end of a fantastic qualifying session with so much going on. Josh Cook narrowly beaten, 6 thousandths of a second, the margin. The cars have to go through that technical check first before they're released to the teams. So we might not yet be able to get Ash Sutton because he's in the technical area. And the rest of the teams, in some cases, happy, in other cases, very frustrated. But it doesn't half ramp up the pressure because, as we often say, with the sheer weight of numbers, you know, you've got so many good drivers in the championship, they can't all be in.
Oh, we've lost audio. That's not great. I think the streams... there we go.
You know, Knockhill is always a place that can catch you out. It's a track that you need to not make mistakes on. You can lose a lot of points if you don't get it right. But with more reaction from the pit lane, Louise is with Josh Cook.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Ash to come through the technical check. So I thought I'd grab a word with the man who's going to be starting alongside him on the front row. Josh, that's a good result for you.
Yeah, almost a really good one. No, it was good. Yeah, had no idea what to expect. Obviously, the first time we were driven the car and the driver was in that quali session. So yeah, it was good. Pleased with the progress that we've made, but it doesn't count to anything unless we can convert it tomorrow. And obviously, we're around the guys that fight for the championship. You know, I'm sure they've got minds on the points they need to score, but we're here for the big win. So see what we can do tomorrow.
How tricky was that session to manage?
That's fine. No, it was horrible. You've got to make a call to go onto the slicks at the right time, and you've either got to get it absolutely bang on right, and nobody sort of really notices, or you jump too soon and you look like a bit of an idiot. So made the right call, I think, about sort of the right time. Maybe could have gone a lap earlier, just to get us through into the shootout. But what am I? But really didn't know what to expect in that final run. So just really pleased for the team. You know, it's been a long year. So to get a decent qualifying like that really sets us up for a good weekend.
Good stuff. We'll see you out there tomorrow. Right, I'll throw back to you guys. I'm going to take a little jog down the pit lane, go and find Ash, so I'll let you know when I've got him.
Excellent, Louise. Thanks very much. Yes, Ash Sutton is back at the team and, as you might expect, is delighted. A very, very happy man indeed with yet another pole position. We'll hear from him in a few moments' time. And in the end, the only one of the Napa Ford drivers to make it through. Dad's very happy. Engineer Tony Carosa is very happy. And he will, once he's done all the photographs, be able to tell all about that session as the circuit continues to drive. More support race action to come. Looking forward to a great day of racing tomorrow because, again, although the weather tomorrow is meant to be better than today, there is still the forecast of a bit of rain, so that's going to throw another variable in tomorrow. Right, he's done it again, and Napa Racing 100% pole rate continues. And this time, Louise, it's thanks to Ash Sutton.
Yeah, the man who said to me earlier on today, nah, we're never going to get this pole, it's going to be a real struggle, but you did it. And how much of a struggle was it?
I'm out of breath. If you give me a couple of minutes. It was a struggle, it was a push. Hybrid round here is such a big difference, especially off the low-speed hairpin and stuff, and onto the back straight. I just literally, you watched the onboard lap, the through chicane, it was a complete opposite lock, normal Ash Sutton on the limit job. But yeah, we've had a bit of a rough day, to be fair. We had a damper issue in FP2, which kind of limited our running. We've actually only done two push laps, and to roll it out in qualifying, we were quickest in the wet when we were all on the wet tyre, but the pressure was on when the slicks come out. But this car's phenomenal on the soft, and I just had to dig deep, and I did exactly that.
It was a phenomenal lap, but given all of that, is there an element of surprise that you got the pole without being disrespectful? But you know what I mean, because you weren't thinking this was going to fall your way, were you?
Yeah, you'd expect Jake to be on pole, or at least Turkington. They've got a little bit more hybrid than me. In a rear-wheel drive car, there's definitely an advantage. Obviously, Josh has got a chunk of hybrid, which helps. So, yeah, you come here, you kind of think, oh, I'll be happy with sort of second or third row. But to roll it out and get it on the front, that's a mega job. Just need to get off the line now.
Well done. Great stuff. Well done you. Right, let's go and find Jake Hill. Is he around? Yeah, he's just cuddling the team over here. So let's see if we can dive straight in with him, see if he can get his helmet off, see how quickly he can get his helmet off. Jake, congratulations from team members. How happy were you with that lap?
Not particularly, but I mean, we're through, you know, when it all looked like it was over, you know. I lobbed it off in the end of my first run in Q1 and just went bouncing across the grass at turn 1, you know, it was so easy to do. And yeah, I thought that was it, to be honest, because obviously it ripped the floor off. Done a fair amount of damage, but luckily the front bumper was good enough that it had something to bolt back to again, you know. But yeah, you know, at least we got third. That's decent. I'm just gutted I couldn't quite get that pole because I think we're definitely fast enough.
It looked as though you guys were kind of trying to really carefully manage how you brought your tyres in that final shootout, but it didn't quite go the way that you wanted it to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got the tyres in, Lou, to be fair. It's just, you know, the track was just awfully green, and after all the rain and lots of stuff had been brought on through no thanks to myself and a few others, obviously, just bringing rubbish onto the track. So it's hard work, you know. And yeah, it's just the first time we've driven around the dry this weekend in qualifying when you have to go for it. And yeah, you know, I got a couple of bits wrong myself, and there's a couple of bits we definitely could have done to improve the car, but it's the same throughout the grid, you know. So, but I'm happy. At least we're up there, and we get to go and fight that lot again for another win.
What are your thoughts looking ahead tomorrow? Because I think we're looking at, theoretically speaking, slightly nicer weather conditions. This is a track where you had, particularly last year, had a brilliant time. So.
Yeah, we had a fantastic year last year, you know, a win in 2 seconds, and it'd be nice to replicate that, but ultimately we're in a good, strong position now, and it's just go out and just try and have a good day. You know, if we can have a couple of podiums, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? You know, so we just got to do everything we can do. We can't control the guys that are on pole, you know, they're just super fast this year, and yeah, you can only manage your own race, I think.
See you out there.
Absolutely.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Luke. So we are all set then for what is going to be a very dramatic race tomorrow. 3 races coming your way. Omi will be with us for race 1 and 2. Josh T will be back with us for race 3 up here in the comments box. So, Josh T, let's get your thoughts. What did you make of the race? I mean the qualifying session. Best of the year. It's like a race.
Yeah, it really was an incredible qualifying session. Yeah, hopefully I'll be back for race 3. I'll try and be back for race 3. unless if the traffic decides to be a pain like it was yesterday and we had to do a massive diversion going to the city next to us for our diversion, not the city that we needed to go to. Anyway, so yeah, it was a really, really good qualifying session, and you could really see Josh Cook was trying to find another word which might have been TV friendly from what his brain was thinking about saying.
Yeah, sadly so. Omi, you're there. What did you make of quali? You were watching it as well. Was it a good one for you?
Did we get there? Oh.
Hello, we're here. Hello.
Hello. Right. Had about 3 or 4 things muted, so got there in the end. But yes, a very exciting qualifying. Really enjoyed it, and I think we're going to get some interesting races tomorrow.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to having you in the box, and then hopefully Josh T for race 3. If not, Megan is going to get a very loud knock on her door and get dragged down to the commentary box as well. So my thanks to Omi, my thanks to Josh T. We'll see you all tomorrow for touring car action, but don't forget, join us at 7 o'clock British Summer Time for all the action from the IMS road course for the Gallagher Grand Prix of IndyCar. Then join us, don't forget, in around about half an hour on the Grid Network for the pre-race build-up shows to this weekend's IndyCar and NASCAR, and then also join us for the USON coverage on Mixlr for the Brickyard 400, or the race on the oval, on the road course, not the oval sadly, but yeah, it's all going to be a lot of fun. All the links are in the description as well. So Napa still on top. And as we're watching now a Top Gear compilation for some reason, I think if you for the stream ending going to YouTube, we'll be back with you for all the touring car action tomorrow on a Touring Car Sunday, not to be missed. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye bye.